Heartily Ho Drinkerinos. On today's Idaho Booze Podcast, we get bitter with Adrienne and Danny Warn from Warn Cocktail Company, makers of fabulous cocktail bitters and syrups made right here in Idaho. We talk all about how they decided to get into that bitter business, the best cocktails to make with each one of their products, and Adrienne steps behind the bar. She plays mixologist and makes us up some fantastic drinks. I go over the Hoptober Freshtival beers that I had and pick out which ones I like best, and something new that slams in Friday Night Pints, and some ups and downs in Brew News. It's a packed show today. The Idaho Booze Podcast starts right now. This show brought to you by Treasure Valley Chevron. Treasure Valley Chevron locations at Highway 55 in Beacon Light and I-84 at Gowan Road have everything you need for game day, fishing trip, or if you're planning a fall camp out. Head to TVC for a huge assortment of Idaho-made beer, wines, and snacks. You won't find a better selection of jerky, chips, or candy than at TVC. Want to win a giant box of jerky? Of course you do. Email your craziest purchase at TVC. I need a picture. I need to see maybe a bag or receipt that says TVC on there. Email all that to idahoboozepod@gmail.com and win a humongous box of beef and cheddar sticks from Treasure Valley Chevron. Let's just get into Brew News. It's Brew News. Brew News. The first piece of news, something that you could have seen coming if you just read the tea leaves a little bit, and that is the untimely closure of Western Collective's new hotspot downtown. Actually, hot spots, because they tried to put 3 restaurants into one place there. Western Collective announced this week that House of Western and Due West are both shutting down. Sad news. Hate to see it. I really appreciate them trying to make something out of that building, but I mean, they probably should have just left it a bowling alley, right? Sucks for the people that work there. I hope somebody cool goes in and tries to salvage that spot because it's in kind of a weird part of downtown and that needs something just like that there. Unfortunately, Western Collective just couldn't get it done. Second piece of sad news is the closure of Selkirk Abbey in Post Falls. Man, this one hurts. Selkirk Abbey was one of my favorite breweries in Idaho. Jeff and his team came out swinging, announcing that they would only make Belgian-style beers, and that's all they made for a long time there. There were so many amazing beers that came out of that brewery, but my favorite had to have been their Belgian-style IPA, Infidel. God, I love that beer. And every time I visited the Panhandle, I made it over to Selkirk to say hi to everybody. The ambience, super friendly. The beers, super Belgian. And the conversation, always great. I'm going to miss our little Abbey up in Post Falls. So Jeff and his team, thank you so much for 10 plus years up there, decade plus. Pretty good run. Awesome brewery. Hope to see you guys around at some of the events coming up just to say hi because, damn it, I'll miss you. Finally, Clairvoyant Brewing in Boise announced that it will be closing its Garden City location on Chinden and Maple Grove. One can only assume that they didn't get quite the boost they needed opening up there as they thought, and the lease probably came up, so they made the choice to close. They didn't really announce anything like that. They just said they were closing it up effective immediately, so I'm sure something will go in there soon. That's the spot where County Line used to be. So there's some brewing equipment maybe in there. I don't know. I haven't been in there in a couple of years, so I'm not sure what's in there. So Clairvoyant, you're making some great beers out there in your downtown Boise spot. I'm sure everything will be fine with you guys because, yeah, your beers are solid right now. Good news, Brownbeard Brewing in Boise, say that 3 times fast, has expanded. They picked up the old Idlewild Brewing location there on Chinden Street, not too far from its original location on Chinden and Maple Grove. Not sure how it's going to work with a place just right down the street, but it sounds like they're going to have one is going to be like a barrel house and the other one will kind of still be the brewery. We'll see how that works out. But they're making some nice beers over there at Brownbeard. If you haven't been there, go check it out. Pretty cool spot. So hopefully it'll turn into something special. Good luck with you guys over at Brownbeard. And more good news. New brewery alert. Ruckus Brewing is opening up in Garden City. They're opening up there at the old Bella and Half location next door to Cobby's. I think Sheila and I talked about this last week. I was not invited to their soft open, but we'll try and make it down there this weekend and come back next week with a full recap of their beers. Had I been invited to the soft open, maybe I would have been able to review those beers right now and today, but I wasn't. So there you go. Also, let's see, Ruckus Brewing is a buddy hub, so get your Boise Beer Buddies card before you hit it up. Welcome to the Community Ruckus. That's it for Brew News. Coming up next, my interview with the team from Warn Cocktail Company, makers of fine bitters and cocktail syrups. They will learn us all about bitters and we'll make some drinks. That's next on the Idaho Booze Podcast. This show brought to you by Boise Beer Buddies. You know what day of the week is the worst? It's that Thursday before payday, isn't it? Bills are paid, but you can't spare an extra buck. Then you remembered that you picked up a Boise Beer Buddies card. Very smart. Now, with savings at over 100 buddy hubs around Idaho, Nevada, and Eastern Oregon, you can stretch that last dollar into a fun-filled night of beer drinking with friends. Now, with the Boise Beer Buddies app, you can find buddy hubs near you that offer those deep discounts like $1 off, 2 for 1s, and even 25% off your tab at some buddy hubs. Get that Boise Beer Buddies card today and use the promo code BOOZEPOD, that's BOOZEPOD, all one word, to get free Boise Beer Buddies card with the purchase of one. That's a BOGO. Buy one, get one free. That's BoiseBeerBuddies.com, promo code BOOZEPOD for 2 for 1 Boise Beer Buddies cards. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz, and I am here with Adrienne and Danny Warn from Warn Bitters. Adrienne, Danny, hey, how's it going?
Hello, good. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming all the way out here. I hope it wasn't too tough of a trip.
No, it's not too far from our warehouse, so it worked well.
Awesome. Well, while you deal with my dog over there, I'm going to ask, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got into creating bitters.
Well, we started our business in 2018, and we just started making bitters at home because we were traveling around, like through the South, through New Orleans, Charleston, went down to Mexico for a while. Saw a lot of craft cocktails that we hadn't had before and were kind of interested in them. And we didn't really have anything around Boise like that at that time. That was more like probably 2016, 2017 when we started doing that. And then we came home, we started making the bitters at home and enjoying them. And then we had some bartender friends that we shared them with, and they really liked them. And Danny here has a very entrepreneurial spirit, and he wanted to maybe try to get it out into the market. And so we had some bars that said if we started making them, that they would buy them, and that's kind of how it started. And so we just made a few flavors like aromatic and orange, and I think coffee pecan were our first 3 flavors. And then, it just took off from there.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So you saw like a need for something like that in the market. Why bitters? Why go down that road? Why not do like a whiskey distillery or something like that? Because you still have to distill everything, right?
No, actually, the spirits we purchase, it's more of an infusion. You take all of your dry ingredients and put them into like giant tea bags and put them into a high proof alcohol. The higher the proof, the better. As far as how much flavor and aroma and color it extracts. So we start with a 190 proof alcohol. But it's, you can get lots of different cocktail flavorings in different locations, different stores. But bitters is its own unique animal. And it's like, if you say you want to get into the market with a coffee, which is not a bad idea. There's a lot of coffee makers out there. But when it comes to bitters, I think there's probably no more than a dozen, like legitimate nationwide bitters companies.
That's awesome. 190 proof, you say, for the spirit. That sounds like something right out of my liquor cabinet here. So
when we first started, we were the first bitters maker to approach Idaho State Liquor with the idea of making bitters in Idaho. And they didn't really know how to treat us, so we were, at that time, they were making us go around to all the different stores in the valley, and the highest proof we could get was 151, I think that's right. And but they made us go to all the individual stores and buy it in individual bottles, so we would show up and wipe out all their inventory, and then turn around, go to the next store and the next store. So it's been a big challenge, but they've enacted because of our business, they enacted a permit that would allow us to buy alcohol in bulk.
You guys are changing the game. Getting your own permits, getting your own alcohol bought in bulk. I love that. That's awesome. You have to kind of shock the system before you can be part of it, I guess, in this case. So with bitters, I guess you can sell them anywhere though, right? Isn't it? It's kind of weird. Bitters are I think this one right here is 43% alcohol, which is like more than 80 proof. 80.
At 44.7%, all of our bitters are, yeah.
I would say about 89 proof, something like that. But you don't have to sell it in the liquor store. You can just sell it in a grocery store or wherever. Why do you think? Why is that? Why don't it's so-called control state? Why do they have such a lack of control with that particular product?
Basically, bitters are a non-potable extract, I guess. So you don't have to have the regulations that alcohol has because it's more of an extract than a liquor that you drink. It has to be unpalatable for it to be approved by the Tax and Trade Bureau. So you have anything to say on that?
It's a non-beverage. We're taking a controlled substance, turning it into an uncontrolled substance, even though it has a high proof alcohol. But it's the same exact thing as you would get with a vanilla extract. If you were 10 years old, your mom sent you to the store to buy some vanilla extract, even though it's made from alcohol, that would not be an age-controlled substance.
I find it to be quite potable, except for the lavender. The lavender is the only one I haven't quite found a potable reason for it quite yet. But we're going to work on that today, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, you don't want to drink it by itself is what that means. Like, you don't want to take a shot of bitters usually. You want to put it into something that it dilutes into, so it's more palatable that way.
Oh, first of all, I don't like being told what to do. And secondly,
I mean, you can. People do it all the time. We would love it. It would just make sales faster.
I always thought that was interesting. Also, bitters come in a very small bottle, typically. So this is the one I'm holding right now. Is kind of it came in like a sampler pack. This is the size that you guys use?
Yeah, those are 1.7 ounce that goes in our variety packs, yeah.
So if you do a shot, you only have 0.7 ounces left anyway.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't make any sense.
But typically the standard size is a 5 ounce bottle.
Okay, and so they come smaller just because that's just the way it has always been, or like why can't I just get like a 16-ounce thing of bitters to last me the rest of my life?
Because you're just using a few dashes in each drink, so 1 5-ounce bottle will last a long time. Like, if you're only doing half an ounce a night, let's say, it would last probably a month. So
a busy bar will go through a 5-ounce bottle in about a month. These smaller 1.7-ounce bottles, you'll get 20 to 30 cocktails out of each one of those, so they're perfect for the home user.
Yeah, I think we bought these in like 2019, so it's,
it's
been a while.
And that's one of our challenges, and that's why we put it into a smaller bottle, was because the sell-through rate was just not there with the bigger bottles for home users. So putting it into the smaller bottles, it first allows people to sample all the different flavors, and they can choose which ones they like more or less, and then go back and buy the bigger bottle.
And a lower price point.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Yeah, I do like that option. So that's good. That I was kind of wondering about that because, I have bought giant, like the big bar bottles before. And yeah, it takes me an age to, like, if a normal bar goes through one bottle in a month, I mean, for my cocktail use, it'd probably take me about 6 years, I think.
Right.
So I think that there are a couple of different ways I can see just right away to kind of battle that. What are some ways that you guys have kind of battled that issue of not having a lot of sell-through or a lot of rebuy, stuff like that?
Well, one of our ways is trying to give people ways to pair it with different products. So we have our huckleberry sour mix and our burnt sugar syrup that you can make different cocktails with, and we can show you how to pair the bitters with those products. But then there's just a lot of recipes out there that we try to promote that use bitters, just trying to educate the public on how bitters are used. So we do a lot of events where we're doing tastings, and a lot of people will come up and say, I've never used a bitter before. I don't know how to use this. And so that's a great opportunity to educate people on how to use them.
And I feel like people associate bitters with high-end fancy cocktails, which they definitely are, but like to show people that you can use them in much more simpler drinks. For example, if you're doing like a vodka cran, that's, very simple drink, but adding a little bit of orange bitters adds a little bit of clove and coriander and cardamom, and it elevates a very simple cocktail. I like tequila drivers, it's orange juice and tequila. I put orange bitters in that as well. Again, the clove and coriander and cardamom are very complementary to the flavor of orange, so there's a lot of ways to use bitters that aren't in super high-end fancy cocktails.
Yeah, you can glow up that trash drink. Get your trash drink, glow it up.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Cuervo and orange. Now it's a tequila driver. Very nice. I love those ideas. What was sort of the inspiration? You have a lot of like kind of fun and interesting flavors, at least to me, because I don't know anything about it. The only thing I know Angostura. That's a bitter that I've had. I like that one. Orange, I've had that one before with like old fashioned stuff like that. But what are like you have like the spiced almond orgeat, and then chili lime, and then lavender. You have all these kind of fun flavors. Where does the inspiration for these sort of come from?
Well, a lot of it came from traveling. Like we went down to Mexico, and a lot of the cocktails down there had chocolate and guava flavors infused into it. And I just thought, wow, that would be an amazing bitters to put together and bring it back here and put it in. It works well in like a Negroni or an old fashioned, and it just adds that sweetness from the chocolate and the floral from the guava. So it's just in a process of figuring out what my palate likes and thinking, well, I think other people would like this too.
And our West 509 is our almond orgeat or orgeat. It's hard to know what's the best way to say that. But that was a collaboration we did with a local whiskey bar.
Oh.
Whiskey bar is located at 509 West Main Street. That's where the West 509 name came from.
Shout out.
That's their signature cocktail. But before we collaborated with them, they were using an orgeat syrup. And I think bitters are a great way to get the flavor profiles without adding a bunch of sweetness. I personally find that overly sweet cocktails are not something that I enjoy. Again, that's another thing that bitters are for, because they are so actually bitter by nature. That helps to tamp down tartness and sweetness that you find in a lot of mixed drinks.
For sure. And then shout out, by the way, to all the guys at the whiskey bar. Chris, I think, is one of the guys there. I think he also has Lucky 13. Which is one of my favorite spots. Was one of my favorite spots when I lived on that side of the world. No longer there, but
yep.
Yeah, Chris Bailey was great. He's the one we collaborated with on that. And
he's a great dude.
Yeah,
doing great things over there at the whiskey bar and at Lucky 13. Awesome job by him. So cool. You guys got these bitters. You have all these awesome new flavors. Now, tell me this. This is a question that has haunted me these last couple of weeks. What is an orgeat?
So an orgeat is an almond flavored syrup. And it's a French word, and I don't really know why it's called, or why they use.
So it's not like a fruit.
No, it's an almond flavored. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a syrup that is very almond forward.
And it has clove and nutmeg and some other things we can't tell you
well,
about.
That's our flavor.
He's keeping it close to the chest
But
here.
doesn't an orgeat typically have clove and nutmeg?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Murphy knows. It's kind of Murphy. Murphy, what do you think? So an orgeat it's a flavor. It's like a compound flavor profile kind of thing. Some French word. They don't just want to call it like frangipan bitters, I guess.
And it's used in a lot of islandy, like rum, tiki type drinks.
Yeah, love those drinks. What are a couple of the drinks that you like to use for that specific bitter? What do you guys like?
So it's great with our burnt sugar syrup and an old fashioned, and we call it the burnt sugar old fashioned, and that's one of our top sellers. It's just a perfect pairing of the almond and kind of the molassesy flavor of the syrup in an old fashioned. So that's what we use it for.
You're talking me into it. That sounds amazing.
We'll make you one.
Yeah, all right. Hey, you know what? It is. It's fine with me. We can get into that. It's already
afternoon.
Yeah, it's 5-ish somewhere. I'm sure. But yeah, and then so what about? I just kind of wrote down your guys' flavors because they're again kind of fun flavors. So barrel aged coffee and pecan. What is your favorite drink for that particular bitter?
So the coffee pecan is good in the old fashioned, but it's also really good in creamy drinks. If you did anything with Kahlua or rum, It's really good. A mudslide even, you could put some in there, or an espresso or chocolate martini.
Yeah, we have a lot of those recipes that we hand out on some cards when we're doing like markets where we working directly with the public. But we also have on our website, drinkusin.com, we have got a lot of cocktail recipes out there. And then one of the other things on that website is people don't realize is that bitters are like vanilla extract. They are an extract. And you can use them in a lot of ways that you would use a vanilla extract in cooking, cookies, frosting, I have a recipe for a coffee pecan whipped cream that goes really good on pumpkin pie, and that's out on the website as well.
Yeah, you guys are kind of all pumpkin-y right now.
Yeah.
'Tis the season, right?
It is.
So we got the pumpkin spice old-fashioned right here. I have one of these cards. It came to me just today.
Nice.
Actually, I found this on my bar just now. And it sounds great. Pumpkin spice syrup. You got bourbon in there, aromatic, orange, ginger root bitters. I guess you can use either one or all three. Is that the way that kind of goes?
Yeah, you can play with bitters. You could add multiple flavors of bitters to the same drink to change the flavor profile.
And what's I'm sorry, go ahead.
Our pumpkin spice syrup is something that we do seasonally, usually from about September through December.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's not really something people are looking for in May, is it?
And it is available at the 2 large Market Street Albertsons.
Oh, great. Oh, perfect. Those are giant Albertson stores and great stores to be in if you're selling stuff like that. For sure. And then let's go moving right along. Ginger root bitters. I think there's a couple of good applications there. What do you guys like for that one?
There's different ways. I feel like anybody who loves ginger, they can never have too much ginger. So we have used it in Moscow Mules. But personally, the best way that I've had it, I like whiskey. I think a lot of people do. But the 10th Street station downtown on 10th, in the bottom of the Idaho building, they're not necessarily known for high-end cocktails, but they might surprise you. But one of the drinks that they came up with in there is about as simple as it gets. It's a ginger whiskey, and it's just whiskey and a good amount of that ginger bitters, and I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
Also probably helps if you have an upset stomach, right?
Yeah, that ginger root in there.
Yeah.
And then the barrel-aged aromatic.
So aromatic, the king, the star is Angostura, and we're never going to touch that.
Heard of them.
Yeah, and they're great, and people need to use them because they have their place. But our aromatic isn't trying to replace that or touch it. It's just a different version of it, and it's a little more premium because it's barrel aged. It's got like 15 to 20 different ingredients in it. And it's just the standard bitters that you can use in an old fashioned or any flavor cocktail you want that calls for bitters.
And that is the most common, if you read a recipe that says add bitters and doesn't specify flavor, aromatic bitters is what that is. So yeah, it's not an exact replica of Angostura, but pretty much any recipe that calls for Angostura, that would go well with.
Mm-hmm. Great. And what sort of barrels do you guys age this stuff in? Where do you get your barrels?
We're using a charred white American oak, and we're not actually using barrels. We're using spirals because we do our infusion in 85-gallon stainless steel tanks, so we can do the aging process at the same time that we do the infusion. Okay, great. Yeah, staves work great, and plus you get more contact, I think, when you do with the barrel. Agreed. Yeah. And then for let's see, I got 2 more here. Lavender. You got lavender. What? Now let's break the bank here. What do we like in with a lavender bitter?
So lavender is one of my favorite because it goes well with gin, and I love gin.
Isn't gin great? I love gin too.
Yes, I love gin. So it's great in a gin and tonic, or you could do any kind of citrusy drink, like a Paloma with some tequila and grapefruit juice. It's great in that. It's great with our huckleberry sour mix. That's one of our best sellers, is the huckleberry whiskey sour with the lavender bitters. So
that's interesting. Is it like an old timey whiskey sour with the lavender bitters? So you do the egg white and you do the lemon and all that stuff, and then you throw some of that in there. And do you put bitters in a whiskey sour normally? I don't know.
It goes either way. A lot of people don't, but it just elevates the flavor, and especially with the huckleberry sour mix, it's got that berry flavor in there, and so it complements well with that. But a regular whiskey sour, it would go great too. It goes great with citrus type drinks. So
I would try that.
Even a lemon drop, That
does sound pretty good. Maybe I will crack this open one day.
Yeah.
Lavender is one of those most polarizing of flavors, though. The people either love it or they just won't touch it. And so if you're doing like a huckleberry sour and you don't like lavender, we have like our orange bitters also goes really well in there. But if you like lavender, I think it's probably the best option.
Well, I'm lavender curious. We're looking to get into it and see what happens. So I think that might be a good avenue with the whiskey sour. I do love that drink. And the huckleberry syrup, by the way, looks amazing. It's a great color. We'll talk about that a little bit later because I got one more bitter here that I really want to ask about. And I'm most excited about it because I love the flavor profile, which is chili lime bitters.
Yes. So that's our newest flavor. And we get a lot of requests for spicy bitters, and we didn't have one, and so I just started experimenting with different peppers and things, and we've only come out with one batch of it so far, and it still needs a little bit of tweaking, but I think it's going to be really good once we get that nailed down. But it's got like 5 different peppers in there. It's got jalapeno, habanero, serrano, got a little smokiness with some ancho and poblano peppers in there. And then the lime, the citrus that really adds to a cocktail. So.
And the very first thing I made when we made a batch of that, I went straight into the huckleberry sour mix with some tequila, and it was basically a huckleberry margarita, and that spiciness. And since we've introduced that and sampled it for people at the Boise Farmers Market and the Capital City Market, it's become wildly popular.
I can't think of a better use for it. That's what I was thinking, was a spicy. I love spicy marg. We're a spicy marg family.
Or Bloody Mary.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I was thinking. Yeah, Bloody Mary. I've never put bitters into a Bloody Mary before because, I was like, well, why, Yeah. But this one, with the chili lime and with the little bit of spice and that lime, sounds like a perfect mix.
And it's so concentrated, it's very easy to put just one dash and get a lightly spicy drink. And if you want to go for it, the more you add, the spicier it gets.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. We'll have to try out that chili lime bitter. That sounds pretty awesome. Have you guys ever made, or have you ever had someone make you something with your bitters, maybe at a bar, at someone's house or whatever, that just completely blew your mind off? Like you're just like...
I think we've had both experiences where it's been like an amazing experience, and then it's been, oh, you did that not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't want to tell somebody that. We provide the paint, and you're the artist.
Right. But sometimes they take it and just splash it on the wall.
Yeah.
we don't come from a bartending background. We come from the other side of the bar, which I think has its advantages as well. But
for sure.
We are just blown away by the creativity of the local bartending scene, and it's only gotten better and better since we started looking into this around 2016. And now we've got several high-end speakeasy bars, and the experience in there. I think people who probably haven't had fancy cocktails are coming to these bars because they want that experience, like that speakeasy experience, and then they get in there and they try some unique high-end cocktails that they never tried before, and I think that's a benefit to us as well.
So what are one or two that you've had that are just completely you've been gobsmacked over? You're just like, wow, that's an amazing drink.
So we went to the Modern, and this was just last summer, and they had changed their cocktail menu, and they had made you had a coffee. It used our coffee pecan bitters.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it was spectacular. And they're so good down at the Modern.
Yeah,
the way
they did a good job.
Just to say, when we first started this, that was kind of my benchmark. Like, one of these days, when the Modern picks us up, I'm going to know we've arrived, and we're super excited to find out that they're using our bitters they were getting from the liquor store, and now they're starting to order some of our unique flavors that aren't available at the liquor store directly from us. So it's been great.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that, getting into the Modern. It's a lot of fun. That place is a cool spot, and they always have such great cocktails there. There's a few other places too that I like, specifically downtown. I always think it's fun when you have a bartender who really who actually now they're called mixologists or whatever, but when they actually start recommending things and telling you this is what, I love that stuff. I think it's a lot of fun, especially since it's starting to happen in Boise more and more, which is great.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of local love from the bar scene. We've got Gas Lantern Drinking Company that's been really good to us.
Oh yeah.
The Mode, the Modern, 10th Street, Space Banana. There's a lot of them out there. So
I feel like you made one of those up. Space Banana?
No, that's a brand.
Space
Banana.
We should talk Space Banana.
It's a new bar downtown. It's kind of in the alley. I can't remember what is it.
It's
off
of
Idaho?
Bannock.
Bannock?
Yeah. It's off
okay.
Of Bannock. Yeah.
Check that one out.
Yeah, it's fun. They do high-end cocktails, and it's kind of a DJ dance club feel. So it's fun.
I'm sure they're open during the day.
Look it up, you'd never find it.
Space Banana.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. A lot of people trying to sober up right before the holidays so they can go nuts during the holidays for good reason. What are a few non-alcoholic drinks you guys have that you can make with your bitters, or Is there any kind of application for these bitters, like in traditionally non-alcoholic drinks like coffee or soda or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. There's lots of mocktail recipes out there. You could just Google mocktails and you could add bitters to any of those. But we used to make one quite a bit to serve at the markets. It was a black tea with some grenadine and
black cherry juice and aromatic bitters.
Yeah. And yeah, you add the bitters to that, and that it kind of mimics an old fashioned, but it's obviously non-alcoholic. But they go well, and most of them go well with citrusy drinks. So if you wanted to do any kind of lemonade or grapefruit juice based mocktail, especially the orange, the aromatic, the cherry, or Emmett cherry is really popular with people who want to do mocktails.
I always do like to let people know, though, that although bitters are often used in non-alcoholic lifestyle, they do have alcohol.
There's alcohol in there.
You're only adding a couple of drops, so I just want to make sure that people are aware. If you want to go strictly non-alcoholic, that wouldn't be for you. But we do also have our huckleberry sour mix, which goes great in just sparkling water. Bitters add a ton of flavor and complexity to an otherwise non-alcoholic drink. Makes you still have that adult cocktail feeling without, enjoying the alcohol.
Yeah, you're right, Danny. I didn't specify. I wasn't thinking someone that was like trying to get off liquor like for good.
Right.
Like obviously that's a different thing. Don't have bitters if you're trying to get off from drinking for good, because that will cause an issue. So what are some other are there other bitters sort of flavors or profiles or things like that out there that you guys haven't tackled yet? Or is this kind of the lineup that you have moving forward? Or is there something out there you think you could still kind of get to?
Well, we have our hands full right now with the flavors that we have. We're thinking about discontinuing some of them that aren't doing as well as the others. Right now, we don't have any plans on adding more, but people are always requesting things like a black walnut bitters or cardamom bitters. So those are things we might tackle in the future, but we don't have any plans right now for that.
Yeah, currently I think if we're going to be doing any growth, our huckleberry sour has been so wildly popular, and there's a lot of sour mixes, but not necessarily flavored sour mixes out there. And so we're thinking of exploring a few more flavors down that road in the near future.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a short break right now, and we're going to come back and try some of the bitters, try some of the syrups, and get a better feeling for what we got going on over here with Warn Reserve. Danny and Adrienne will be right back with you on the Idaho Booze Podcast. This show brought to you by Like Button. Are you the owner of a small to medium business with a digital agency that will not stop pushing products you don't want or need? Are you tired of the bloated bills and excuses for failed campaigns? Are you getting tons of compliments on your creative but stagnant sales? Try Like Button. Like Button offers a slate of products and marketing options for half the cost of other big agencies. This month, Like Button is offering you, the listeners of this podcast, one single email blast for just $1,500. No contracts, no retainers required. That's a savings of over $1,000. So that's one single email blast for just $1,500. Go to likebutton.us today and see why you should hit that like button for all your marketing needs. Get back to doing what you love with Like Button. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I am your host, Steve Kuntz, and we have mixologist Adrienne here. And from Warn Reserve Bitters, we have Adrienne and Danny here, and they're going to show off their merch here, as it were. And we've got some ice, we've got a shaker, we've got some booze bottles. What's going on over there, Adrienne?
So yeah, I'm going to make you a huckleberry whiskey sour and a burnt sugar old fashioned. And just for the record, I'm not a mixologist.
Certified.
But I will do my best.
Not a certified mixologist. She does this like as parties and I imagine at different events.
For sure, parties, yep.
Now she may not have done it professionally, but she can make a good drink.
I bet she can. I don't think you get into the bitters business without, one, appreciating good drinks and also, two, being able to make them.
So I'm using some straight bourbon whiskey from Grand Teton Distillery in Driggs, Idaho.
All right.
They are amazing people to collaborate with, and they make great products.
Okay, that's Grand Teton in Driggs.
What are you doing there? About 2 ounces?
Yeah. Well, I'm making 2 drinks, so that I'll do.
That's 3.
I'll do 3.
Okay. Why do 3 when you can do 4?
I'm spilling it everywhere.
It's like 4-ish.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay. And then I'm using some of our huckleberry sour mix, and we like to do equal parts of booze and mix, but people can definitely put more mix in there to make it less boozy if they want.
No, we would just. So this would be a 1-1 drink? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Okay. I learned about all that stuff one time.
All the ratios.
Yeah, shout out Nick out there. He taught me all that stuff.
Yeah, we like Nick. He's been awesome to work with as well.
Good dude.
Yeah. And now I'm using some of our lavender bitters. And it's just 2 to 3 dashes per drink. I'm making 2 drinks, so I'm going to do about 6 dashes.
All right.
And a dash is, it's not a drop. It's like actually tipping your hand over and dashing it into the drink.
Yeah, so it's not that little spill that you get, like, right? Like if you go to dump it in and there's a little spill, right. That's not the dash.
Right. You do that and then you actually kind of flick your wrist and it dashes the liquid out of the bottle, and that's an actual dash.
I like the thing where they take it upside down, they put it between their fingers and do that. Like it's a very aggressive gesture.
Yeah.
That's a big dash.
Yes.
And they're showmans too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
And shout out to Red Chair Lavender here in Eagle, is where we get our fresh lavender right off the farm.
Oh, shout out Red Chair. Okay, we're shaking.
Yeah, I'm just shaking it up. You can maybe, Danny, you could put some ice in the glass.
Yeah, Danny, come on.
That one. Make yourself useful.
Make yourself useful.
Story of my life.
He was just going to stand over there in the corner and do nothing. Very weird.
That's perfect.
He's like, I just like to watch.
2 glasses, please.
Yeah.
It's 2.
And then normally you'd use an egg white in here as well. It gives it a real nice frothy.
Oh, I could have grabbed an egg. Got some.
Yeah.
And with this huckleberry sour mix, it makes a nice purple froth on the top.
It looks really pretty. I was going to say that.
In
In the glass right now, it looks very pretty. It's purple. It's actually got almost like a crimson kind of color. It's like red and purple. Really beautiful color there.
That's the huckleberries that are infused into it, and it makes it very...
Now, do you guys use real huckleberries for that?
We do. We get them and we steam juice them, so we get as much of the juice without getting the pulp of the berry in there.
Okay.
So I kind of messed this up. I was going to do 1 lavender and 1 chili lime, but I did both lavender, but I can add the chili lime to this one.
We've got more glasses. I mean,
well, let me try it with the lavender and the chili
I've done
lime.
it for customers at the farmers market, and they seem to
like that.
No issue with that.
I'll take a hit of chili lime.
Okay. What do you think of the lavender?
Oh, here, I guess I should try it first.
The lavender in particular is really all about the aroma, and they say that you taste with your nose.
For sure. Yeah, it's great. I really like it. It's got the tartness of the huckleberry in there, which I really enjoy. You don't taste the whiskey at all, 0%. It's nice. It's like almost like if you're a cocktail drinker who doesn't particularly like straight whiskey, this is the drink for you, because I taste a little bit of the bitterness of the whiskey, which I like. And then you get that lavender, like you said, like on the nose. It's actually quite nice. I mean, not even actually. It is quite nice. Really nice drink. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I can add a little. That's the fun thing with bitters is you can add a little bit of whatever flavor you want on top of other flavors.
Do you like spicy or?
I am a spice guy.
I want to give him a little bit more than that.
I like spice.
Yeah.
I'm just going by what I would like.
Yeah. Give me the Danny. Give me the Danny portion.
That'll just
Let me stir it a little for you.
Put some hair on my chest.
There you go.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So right away, it is the chili and the lime you get right off the nose. I mean, it's right there. Ooh. That is nice. Yeah, that's really nice. It's like just like that. Yeah, that chili lime flavor that's so classic. Really nice, like chili in there. Good heat on the front, and then it kind of backs off and allows you get that huckleberry, you get the whiskey. Really, really nice drink. That's awesome. It's super tasty, and this is something that you can definitely bring out to your tailgate or to whatever you're doing, and people will love this. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Really, really good.
No, that's diluted in a full cocktail. I have people at the farmers market who want to taste that particular bitters by itself. Don't recommend it when it's in full concentrate. It is very spicy.
Yeah, that's something that other people can do. I'm good not doing that. Awesome. That's good. And the heat sort of stays with you too a little bit. It builds, which I like. I like that kind of building heat. I don't like it when it's just like one shot and that's it.
Yeah, and that's the fun part with bitters is it's just meant to accent your drink and complement your drink with just a hint of flavor and aroma. So it really is just a subtle addition to your cocktail, but it really elevates it. So
for sure, yeah, I'm getting that. Yeah, it really does elevate it. I mean, if this was just like a normal, like you said, like a huckleberry whiskey sour or whatever, it would be nice. But with the bitters in there, it's much better, I think.
Awesome. All right, well, I can make a burnt sugar old fashioned now.
Oh yeah,
my favorite.
Like.
Now we're talking. Well, let's set Danny up here. I'll get a glass.
This tends to be the one that I sell the most of because it's my favorite, so it just kind of naturally comes out that way.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes.
So our burnt sugar syrup that we'll be putting in there for you is made from a completely raw, unrefined sugar, so it still has some of its natural molasses qualities. And burnt sugar syrup is something that is used in a lot of baking recipes. There's a recipe for burnt sugar cake, burnt sugar frosting. But it's really not that different from making like a simple syrup. But a simple syrup, you put the water and sugar in the pot at the same time, and once they come together, it's done. But with the burnt sugar syrup, you're actually bringing that sugar up to a boiling point by itself in the pot, and then you're adding an approximately equal amount of boiling water. And I will warn any listeners out there who want to give this a try. You want to use a very deep pot and only make a little bit, because once you add that boiling water, it does this reaction. It tries to overflow the pot like a molten lava volcano, and it will burn you. It'll splatter you. You got to be careful. But it is worth the trouble. And we do have a few other ingredients in there that a little bit proprietary. So if you've ever tried a burnt sugar syrup, you'll find that ours is just a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that it's burnt sugar syrup. It's not a burnt sugar syrup. It's you're taking burnt sugar and then making a syrup out of that, as opposed to it being like a burnt syrup.
And I like to think it's like a campfire marshmallow that you actually blacken. You get that burnt taste, but you get that sweet taste, and they're very complimentary.
Yeah.
It kind of also reminds me a little bit of the cookie part of an Oreo, you know?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. That was one of the ones that I saw when I looked on your website that I was most interested in, was that burnt sugar syrup. Because that's immediately where my mind went, was a burnt marshmallow, that kind of flavor, which I think is a really nice flavor.
So what do you got here for ratios there, Adrienne?
So I'm doing about 2 ounces of bourbon, about 1/4 of an ounce of the burnt sugar syrup, and 2 to 3 dashes of the West 509 spiced almond bitters.
Hey, don't be shy. Stir that thing.
I think people are very attracted to cocktail mixers, and for good reason. It makes making a really good cocktail very easy.
Yeah.
But we like to keep the ingredients separate because some people like it more sweet, some people like it more bitter. And if I was to mix all that stuff together for you, then I would be in control of those ratios for you. So having the syrup and the bitters separate allows you to make the drink the way you like it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I mean, for sure. And as you can tell from my West 509 bottle, I've used this quite a bit in old fashioned. So I keep holding up these bottles like people can see them. You can't see them, but they're there.
And this would be a very good drink to smoke as well.
Yeah, it'd be great smoked. You obviously want to use a orange peel and maybe a Luxardo cherry in there to really elevate it. We don't have those right now. But
well, we have them, but I just forgot to bring them over because I'm a bad host.
Express the orange.
Yeah, you express that orange peel over it.
Wipey, get it on there. This is excellent. I really like it because I can taste the bourbon in there. With an old fashioned, which is different than a whiskey sour. Old fashioned, I do actually like to taste the whiskey that's in there. So this is a nice whiskey. I think it's the first time I've ever had this kind before. I don't know what that noise is. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever had this Grand Teton whiskey before. Very tasty. It's got a really nice sort of that burnt marshmallow that you're talking about, that Oreo cookie, that burnt marshmallow. I'm getting all that. And then what I really like about that, the West 509 bitter, is it adds that sort of depth of flavor. Like you and I and everyone else knows that it's almond, but you don't know it's almond if you're just drinking it and you have it in there. But you're like, wow, this is a really nice flavor. I wish I knew what it was.
People have said they pick up hints of cherry in there, and there's a lot going on.
So we're right now we're trying the burnt sugar old fashioned, And yeah, this would be, with the cherry and with the orange, this would be even better, but it's really good the way it is right now.
A lot of people associate old fashions with bourbon or whiskey, which is probably the most popular way, but old fashioned, the term is really kind of loose. It's a spirit of some kind, a bitters of some kind, and a sweetener of some kind typically. Sometimes you can leave the syrup out, so you can do a gin old fashioned or a vodka old fashioned.
We have the burnt orange old fashioned, we have the huckleberry whiskey sour. These are two awesome, amazing drinks made even better with your guys' syrups and your bitters. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. We're happy to share.
And what sort of, these are a couple ones. I imagine these are ones that you probably do around the house. What are some other kind of cocktails that you like to make around the house with your guys' stuff?
Well, I recently came up with a cocktail. We went to New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail this year to showcase our products there at the conference. And, you go to New Orleans, you have to have a Sazerac. So I had a few Sazeracs, and then I came home and started making some Sazeracs with our burnt sugar syrup and our Emmett cherry bitters.
So what is a Sazerac, really quick?
So Sazerac is basically a rye whiskey with a sweetener of some kind and bitters, but then it also has an absinthe rinse in the cup to give it that kind of anisey black licorice flavor, which is traditional to New Orleans and very popular down in the South, which we don't have much of that going on up here in the Northwest. And so it would be kind of fun to bring those kind of flavors up to the Northwest and do more Sazeracs and mint juleps and southern drinks, things like that.
What do you think the problem is with that, with the Sazerac? Why isn't it a more widely seen drink?
I think probably the absinthe. I think people either don't know how to use it or they've heard wild stories about it. The green fairy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a deterrent to people from having it, but and then the black licorice flavor as well. I think people either love that or hate it. So I think if you just experimented with it and, you just do a little rinse of it, it just adds that aroma and flavor that is really nice in a well-crafted cocktail.
I agree. I think that the absinthe thing it's what turns my nights from probably going to drive home to definitely getting an Uber.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they are very tasty, so you can't have just one.
That's right. Right on. Well, thank you so much for sharing these drinks with us. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to murder my dogs once again. The light drowning did not work, so we're going to try that again. And I'll be right back on the Idaho Booze Podcast with Adrienne and Danny Warn from Warn Reserve Cocktail Company. This show is sponsored by Idaho Brewers United, or IBU. What better way to stay warm this winter than at a beer festival? The Northern Idaho Beer Festival is November 2nd in Hayden, Idaho, and you will not want to miss out. With over a dozen Idaho breweries in attendance, plus tons of other fun stuff, this year's fest will be the best one yet. Save $10 when you buy early at idahobrewers.org for the Northern Idaho Beer Festival, November 2nd in Hayden. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz, and I wouldn't say drunk.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I would say, I've got a good, kind of midday buzz on right now after Adrienne just went ahead and played bartender for us, made us a couple of awesome little cocktails. What were they again, Adrienne? I'm sorry. My memory is...
So we have the Huckleberry Whiskey Sour with lavender bitters and a burnt sugar old fashioned with a spiced almond orgeat bitters.
And they are delicious. As Danny can attest to, as I can attest to, we're enjoying the whiskey sour, and for me the old fashioned. It can't be beat. I love a good old fashioned, and like we were talking about before, that burnt sugar in there is a very it's not I wouldn't say it's unique, but it's definitely not something that you get every time you have an old fashioned, right?
Right, yeah. And it has a little bit of our flair infused into it.
For sure.
Ingredients in there that there are other old burnt sugar products on the market, but ours has a unique little flavor.
When you pair it with the West 509, it offers even more of that kind of your guys' own kind of creativity and all of the little flavors that you guys have going on with Warn Reserve cocktails, with the cocktail mixers, for sure, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that 509, I've been using it, like I said, for probably 2 years now, and it really does add a nice little, that flavor, whatever that orgeat. that je ne sais quoi of the orgeat. I'm not sure what it is, but because Danny won't tell us. So, but it's very nice. So I really appreciate you mixing those cocktails up for us, Adrienne, and it's just like really, that old fashioned is really nice. So I highly recommend going out and getting that burnt sugar syrup. Where can they get that syrup?
So that syrup's available on Amazon, on our website, on Etsy. I think we might have it even on the Walmart marketplace. We have a strong e-commerce presence with that flavor. Our other flavors, we have lots of different retail. We have Albertsons, liquor stores. The liquor stores, Idaho State liquor stores, have 5 of our products, and that works well for us because it distributes our products throughout the whole state. Yeah. So that makes it really nice for people to be able to access our
without
products.
Danny having to get into the Warn Reserve truck and tooling around the whole state.
Yeah. And then we also recently got into the Boise airport, so people traveling in can pick up a bottle on their way out of town.
Which is convenient if you want to be able to carry on. You don't have those restrictions if you're buying it at the airport, the size restrictions.
Not 3 ounces.
Well, yeah.
Right, exactly.
The 1.7 ounce bottles people can already carry on, but if you're buying an 8 ounce bottle of huckleberry sour at the airport, you can carry it on. The only problem is then if you have to go through security again on a different flight, then you'll probably have to forfeit that item.
So you have to drink it down on the flight if you're connecting in Denver.
But we've also just recently got into a national distribution company organization called KHE, and so we are trying to get into more retail outlets throughout the Northwest, and if there are grocery stores that are interested in us, they can always look at our stuff through the KHE portal, or they can contact us directly.
Awesome.
And then that other online store people probably haven't heard of called Amazon.
Yeah, all of our products are on Amazon.
Nice. You can get it all on Amazon.
Yeah.
That's great. Fantastic. And I assume everything's going well with all that stuff. You guys are moving units.
Our growth has been hard to keep up with. It's been fantastic.
Awesome. And you guys have a little warehouse down here somewhere in the Treasure Valley?
Yeah, we're actually sharing space with the Chocolate Bar, which is another local company in town. So we have a production space that we split, and that's been working out really well. They've been a great company to work with.
That's amazing. Good times. All right. And you guys have some stuff coming up. What else going on that you have coming up in the near future with Warn Reserve?
So it's getting into holiday season, so we have a lot of holiday shows. We have a Sip Idaho event that is put on by Sip Idaho, which it's a tasting event for local and regional spirits, but they're kind enough to let us come in and sample our bitters there as well. And so the next one is in Idaho Falls. I think it's November 16th. And then we have the Wintry Market. We're in the Boise Farmers Market, the Capital City Market. We're doing the Idaho Expo Christmas show. This is Boise Christmas show. So there's a lot of, any Christmas show out there in the valley, we're probably going to be there. So. And
that's not to mention the farmers markets and stuff that you guys do as well, right?
Right. And those will go indoors for the holiday. Well, at least the Boise Farmers Market. The capital city will be outside on the Grove.
Boy, those last couple of weeks out there are pretty rough, aren't they, Danny?
Yeah, it gets pretty cold.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming by today and sharing your product with me and making me more aware of what I can do with this bottle of lavender bitters that I haven't quite used yet. But I really appreciate you guys coming out and telling me all about Warn Reserve and all the great bitter stuff you guys are doing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. You guys come back on any time. And man, this old fashioned is so good. I just cannot stop with this thing. So we're going to take a short break and be back with Friday Night Pints right after this. This is the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz. We'll be right back. This show brought to you by Treasure Valley Chevron. Treasure Valley Chevron locations at Highway 55 in Beacon Light and I-84 at Gowan Road have everything you need for game day, fishing trip, or if you're planning a fall camp out. Head to TVC for a huge assortment of Idaho-made beer, wines, and snacks. You won't find a better selection of jerky, chips, or candy than at TVC. Want to win a giant box of jerky? Of course you do. Email your craziest purchase at TVC. I need a picture. I need to see maybe a bag or receipt that says TVC on there. Email all that to idahoboozepod@gmail.com and win a humongous box of beef and cheddar sticks from Treasure Valley Chevron. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz. Wasn't that great? Those guys are awesome. Warn Cocktail Company. Look out for that West 509 and all their other awesome bitters out there in the market and on Amazon. Like they said, they told you all the places you can buy them. Go check them out. I'll tell you what, man, that West 509, that's a pretty awesome little bitter. I use that in an old fashioned here and there at my house, and it's a nice little flavor. It adds like an almond, and it just makes your old fashioned that much cooler and different. It's just nice. So check that out from our friends at Warn Cocktail Company. Adrienne and Danny, thanks a lot for coming on. On to Friday Night Pints. Well, Friday Night Pints this week, we're going to tackle some of these Hop Freshtival beers that I tried. I went through my tickets. So what I have, like 10 tickets. I think I gave a couple of them away. So here's what we got. I'm just going to go real quick. Freem Fresh Hop Pills. Awesome beer. Great beer. Amazing job by Freem. Super hoppy, refreshing, grassy, just an awesome beer. So that one's good. Mother Earth, fresh as it gets, always good. This one, very dank. I think everyone seemed to use Strata hops this year. I think that one had Strata hops in it. Matchless Fresh Hop Pills. That was pretty good. Not as good as the Freem, but still pretty tasty. Matchless with a couple of good fresh hop beers out there. Speaking of Strata, Odell did a Strata Fresh Hop IPA. That beer was dope. Good beer. Nice one, Derek. Everybody over there at Odell. Tasty, fresh hop beer. Super dank, super hoppy. Just tons of that, like melon, strawberry. Good stuff. Oh, awesome beer. Merriweather Fresh Hop Cider. Delicious. No notes. Perfect. It was great. Nice and hoppy. Nice and appley. All the things you want from a hoppy cider. Boise Brewing, the hosts. Mr. Freshie, they do this one every year. This year, I felt like it was a little bit more IPA-y. Sometimes it goes into that harvest sort of beer area where it's a little bit darker. This one wasn't. It was crisp and light and fresh. Anyway, great beer. I would try that out at Boise Brewing. Bale Breaker, fresh hop, hazy, tasty, delicious. Bale Breaker, amazing. Both the fresh hop beers. I got to try that City Slicker fresh hop they did with Russian River. That beer was amazing. I got to try that hazy. And then there was another hazy or maybe an IPA. All three of them awesome beers. If you see them out there, make sure to pick those up. Sockeye Single Hop, Wet Strata, awesome beer. Just a really good beer. I mean, it was nice. That Strata hop was everywhere at this Fresh Hop Freshtival. So, got a good look at the Strata hop. And that Sockeye one was really nice. Really tasty beer. Cool. So, that was my version of the Fresh Hop Freshtival. One of the kind of overlooked things is Boise Brewing the week after the Hop Freshtival is like the best place to go get a beer. So make sure this weekend you go over to Boise Brewing, help them empty some of those fresh hop kegs because it is pretty awesome going over there and seeing all the fresh hop beers on. And you don't have to pay $50 to get in. It's free. So a couple new beers I tried this week. We got Mother Earth out with another Project X. This is Vermilion Falls Hazy IPA, 7.2%. I drank it out of the can, so I assume it was probably yellow, hazy, golden with a nice white head. I can only assume that because all those beers are. This one, awesome, great beer, very hoppy, very nice like notes of sort of strawberry and peach and stone fruit and maybe like a little bit of like tropicalness too, like some passion fruit, something like that. Good beer, 7.2%. That one you can find all around town. And then the last one, this next one I tried is one that I don't know if it's new to the market or not, but I haven't seen it here before, and that's Bell's Hop Slam Double IPA. Hop Slam, one of those beers that if you didn't have it, you were always sort of like looking at it like, oh man, I wish we could get Hop Slam because it is that beer. I mean, they should call it Hop Slams because it hits you. This thing is 10%. You pour it in the glass. It's old school. It's got that crystal malt in it. It's brewed with honey. So it's got a little bit of back-end sweetness, but mostly it's just super hoppy, piney, resinousy, dank. I mean, all that good stuff in a glass. And that alcohol, you can't taste the alcohol at all, but you feel it, man. Oh, it is there. It definitely slams. And happy to have it. $17.99, kind of pricey for a 6-pack, but you know, that's what happens. Bell's Hop Slam, awesome beer, good every year. Go ahead and get that. I found it at Whole Foods. Maybe you can find it wherever you like to get beer. Anyway, that's Friday Night Pints for the week. Coming up, we'll say goodbye, and that will happen right after this. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz. Thank you so much for listening today. I want to thank Danny and Adrienne from Warn Cocktail Company, makers of those fine bitters and syrups. You can get those on Amazon, at your local, at the Boise Farmers Market, the Capital City Farmers Market, Amazon, Etsy. There's a bunch of places you can grab those. So make sure you pick those up. That West 509, freaking awesome. Chef's kiss. No notes. Awesome bitter. Who else do we want to thank? Thank every one of you for listening. Really appreciate it. I really hope that you're enjoying the podcast. Drop us a note, idahoboozepod@gmail.com. You can find me there. Or if you like, you can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or X or any of those social medias. You can find me at The Daily Beard on Twitter and Instagram, and at Steve Kuntz on Facebook. You see my little cartoon guy. And I want to thank, who else do we want to thank? Boise Brewing for having us out at the Hop Freshtival. Great time, as always, Boise Brewing. Great job by you guys. And just want to thank, anyone else? Thank Michael Teeter over there at Whole Foods for alerting me to the Hop Slam that came in. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate that. And just want to say, make sure that you are using the code. Get your Boise Beer Buddies card. That's code BOOZEPOD at checkout. Make sure you get that. It's buy one, get one free. And we're still running our Treasure Valley contest. So Treasure Valley Chevron, we want you to go there, buy something weird. Or you don't even have to buy it. Just pick up something weird, take a picture with it, whatever. And we'll send you out a big box of jerky. Just send that picture in to idahoboozepod@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Good day and good drinking, everyone.